Constipation is often misunderstood. It's not just about not going enough. If you've been struggling with constipation for a long time, or if you've recently changed your diet and all of a sudden you find yourself in an uncomfortable situation, I've got some answers for you. If you're new to my channel, hi, my name is Stefan. I make science-based health and weight loss videos. I did my degree in BSc Biokinetics, and over the last decade, I've coached over 8,500 people to get in the best shape ever. The healthy way. No pills, no injections, no BS. Just good, healthy, science-based truths. So let's solve your bloating and constipation situation. First, we need to understand how our bodies ended up in this uncomfortable situation in the first place. Physiologically, constipation occurs when stool moves too slowly through the large intestines, allowing too much water to be reabsorbed. This results in dry, hard stool that becomes painful and difficult to pass. Normally, the colon, a section of the large intestines, stores and eliminates waste through a process called peristalsis, the movement of the intestines. The colon's wall contains two muscle layers: circular muscles that encircle the tube and three longitudinal bands that run the length of it. These layers contract rhythmically to move waste along it all the way until it reaches the end. Now, did you know, medically, constipation is defined as having fewer than 3 bowel movements per week? That's something to chat about in the comments down below. We often neglect how closely the nervous system and the gut is connected. Ever notice that when you are constipated, you also feel fatigued and distracted? This isn't just an uncomfortable situation distracting you. Physiologically, the gut is sending signals to your brain telling you something is not right. Constipation starts out relatively low risk, but if left untreated, the consequences are very intense, sometimes even life-threatening. It's important to see a healthcare professional if any of these symptoms appear. These may indicate a more serious condition like obstruction, inflammation, or malignancy. Okay, so now that we've got that warning part out of our systems, let's have a look at what causes constipation. And as it is with our always changing and beautifully complex bodies, there's more than one cause. One of the most common reasons is that we don't drink enough fluids. Sounds simple, but if our body's cells run low on fluid, guess where it searches for some fluid? In your gut. So low fluid on the one side, high fluid on the other. Well, the body just goes, I'll have that water, and pulls it into the body. So out of the gut, into the cell. Humans, on average, need at least 2 to 3 liters of water per day, with 500 milliliters extra per 30 minutes of exercising. The second reason we often end up with constipation is that we simply don't eat sufficient amounts of dietary fiber. And this one oftentimes happens when we start to cut out carbs in our diet. We focus so much on protein intake that we forget to get fiber in. Fiber remains largely undigested as it passes through the intestines, adding bulk to stool and improving its texture. Soluble fiber found in oats, fruits, legumes, and psyllium dissolves in water and forms a gel-like substance that softens the stool. Insoluble fiber found in wheat, bran, whole grains, and vegetables adds bulk and helps the stool move through quickly so that not too much water can be taken away from it. The recommended fiber intake is between 20 and 35 grams per day. Increasing fiber gradually while staying hydrated helps prevent bloating and discomfort too. So add fiber. Here's a whole list of fiber ideas. The third reason for our constipation situation is that we don't respond to the natural urges to pass stool. We don't like public bathrooms, or going to the loo at work is just a big no-no. You see, the colon absorbs water, excess water from the stool that the longer it stays in there, the drier it gets. If you get the urge, you need to act on it. Going to the loo is almost as drinking water. The science says when you start feeling thirsty, it's technically already too late. You should have already had water before your body screams for more. Same goes for going to the loo. Building a regular routine is very good for your gut health. Reason number 4. You remember in the beginning of this video I mentioned those muscles in your gut that perform these rhythmic movements called peristalsis to move the food through it? Well, not only can those muscles help move food through your gut, but the rest of your body's muscles can too. On a physiological level, inactivity, so being lazy or not moving a lot, reduces body-wide muscle tone, meaning your whole body's ability to perform movement just reduces, even in the abdominal and intestinal walls, and this slows down peristalsis. Fun science fact, exercise also stimulates the release of a hormone called vasoactive intestinal peptide, VIP, and gastrin, which improves blood flow to the digestive tract. So generally, if you sit a lot or for long periods of time, like behind a desk, then you're not really doing your gut any favors. My top tip would be to get up frequently. Go get some water, just walk around the block. It will really help a lot. The next reason for your constipation situation is a bit more serious and also more complicated. Medicines. Certain medications are notorious for causing constipation. Opioids, painkillers being one of them. Their molecules not only bind to the pain receptors, making their neural signals less active, but they also bind to receptors in the gastrointestinal tract, suppressing those neural signals that promote peristalsis. Calcium blockers used for high blood pressure is also sometimes a problem. They are known to relax smooth muscle in blood vessels, which is good. More lax blood vessels means lower blood pressure for those with high blood pressure, but unfortunately, they don't only relax the blood vessel walls, they also relax intestinal smooth muscle, slowing peristalsis, therefore slowing bowel transit and therefore removing more water out of the stool. Another medicine that influences constipation is antidepressants, such as tricyclics. They block the neurotransmitter acetylcholine, reducing both the muscle contraction so that peristalsis movement is reduced, and they negatively influence intestinal secretions, which helps to lubricate stool. Even pills like antihistamines, often used for allergies, also block acetylcholine. So just like antidepressants, they ultimately lead to sluggish bowel movements. The tricky part with these medications are that in some cases, we just can't live without them. So those side effects don't outweigh the risk of not using them. In cases where medication is the fault, we usually fight back by first making sure that we are optimizing our lifestyle habits to reduce the impact of these medications, like consuming enough water, making sure we get enough fiber in, and encouraging healthy bathroom rhythms. After that, we fight fire with fire, introducing another medicine to help the side effects of our original medicines, and so the loop continues. Not a great situation, but the best we can do. Very often changing our lifestyles, living healthier, looking better after our bodies can eliminate the need for these medications. If you can recall at the beginning of this video, I mentioned that you've got these long muscles and circular muscles running along your gut. And at the end, there's another set of muscles controlling the passageway. And if these muscles can't work in collaboration with each other, that's another cause for constipation. The condition is known as Dyssynergic defecation constipation. Interesting, right? Your pelvic floor muscles actually plays an essential role here. These muscles form a supportive lining at the bottom of your pelvis. To pass stool, you must coordinate between relaxing the end-line sphincter muscle and generating enough abdominal contraction. If these muscles are weak, meaning your pelvic region is always relaxed and never controlled, or too tight, or poorly coordinated, this condition known as Dyssynergic defecation constipation can become chronic and part of what's holding your otherwise healthy gut back. So it might not necessarily be internal, it could be closer to the end of the line. There's a whole bunch of nice pelvic floor exercise videos that I'll link down below in the description that you can have a look at. Constipation can also result from blockages in the colon more specifically, or in the rectum due to scar tissue. Structural changes can also play a role, or more serious, a tumor. Usually these are not the case, especially if applying a healthy lifestyle habit like more fiber, more water changes the situation. Beyond these mechanical blocking factors, many systemic conditions can also slow intestinal transit. Diabetes, for example, can damage the nerves that regulate intestinal peristalsis, leading to irregular movements and increased water loss. In pregnancy, elevated levels of progesterone and a hormone called relaxin smooths the muscle tone throughout your body, which is great for relaxing the abdominal wall, making space for the baby, but it also affects your intestinal muscles, slowing movement and causing more water to be pulled away from your stool. Stress is another major contributor. When the body is under stress, the sympathetic nervous system dominates, initiating the fight or flight response. Move all the energy and blood away from the intestines and give it to the big muscles we need to run. This suppresses peristalsis and reduces secretion of lubricating fluids. The thing is, the enteric nervous system, which governs the gut peristalsis and motility, is highly sensitive to stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones not only switches your body into survival mode, but they also alter the gut microbiome, increasing inflammation and impairing integrity of the intestinal barrier, all of which can contribute to constipation, bloating, irritable bowel syndrome. Exercise is a great way to help reduce stress levels, allowing the parasympathetic, the rest and digest system, to take over, restoring natural bowel rhythm and sleep too. The time during which your body gets rid of most of its stress hormones is while we are sleeping. Sleep is super important. I've actually made a whole video on how to burn fat while you sleep. I can highly recommend that you watch that video next. Sleep is important. Now, something that I can't preface enough is that we do not want to chronically use laxatives, especially if we know that our lifestyle habits aren't good yet. Simply being more active, getting more fiber in, drinking more water can really improve it. There are very few genetic disorders that can cause chronic constipation. It's most often due to something that we can actually change. We don't need to rely on medicine always, unless the situation is caused by medicine in the first place. There are a bunch of foods that can help with constipation. I'll leave them all up on the screen. Feel free to pause the video, screenshot it, and save it for later. Thanks for watching this video. I hope your constipation situation improves after this video. And remember, my previous video was a menopause explained video. That's a good one. Watch it next. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers, bye.